Well, good day, all. I'm Epstein, and here we are with your SPDR ETF stock market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for the evening, as we're here now on Wednesday, and this is the 18th of October, 2023. Pretty eventful day. President Biden did make it over to Israel. I didn't think he should go, as you know. He did go. I didn't expect, the day I didn't put out the updates yesterday, a hospital would be hit and other leaders wouldn't do anything. But he took a very bad event and made something good out of it and got some good things. Number one, there are going to be at least a test caravan. I want to call it that. Egypt has agreed to allow 20 trucks into Gaza for humanitarian purposes. Now, goods are not supposed to go to Hamas, how they'll track them, what's in the trucks, who's checking that. I don't have all the details. As you know, everything I read, there's well more than 20 trucks lined up there with goods on it waiting to go in, well more. But this is what you call a test. The president got that done, and he should be applauded. That is good. He's going to hold tomorrow at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Time. He has scheduled a television address. And on that address, he will say what he has done, where it's going, what he's trying to accomplish, and we'll see if things tame down or pick up. I did a lot of thinking yesterday on Iran, and I'm pretty much of the opinion they are not going to put troops on the ground in any manner. I think that they will, behind the scenes, pull all the strings of all the puppets. I think they'll, behind the scenes, say, oh, they're not involved, but Hezbollah, everybody else will be involved to a degree. Does Hezbollah get fully involved? Nobody knows. Will there be a distraction? For sure. Will the fighting pick up again now that the president's out of there? Probably. Do I expect that while he's on the air at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Time, for us to at the same time have videos like they show on Fox and CNN of the planes dumping in and taking buildings down? I'm praying not. That wouldn't do a lot of good. But I don't think you can control things beyond that. The good news is there's going to be some relief. Let's hope everybody doesn't blow it. I use the word everybody. If the Palestinians allow Hamas to grab the stuff, as fast as it's turned on, it's over. Somewhere along the line, the Palestinian people have to fight for the Palestinian people and separate themselves from the radicals. That's simple. They don't want to do that. That's fine. All I'm telling you as an observer, those lines, those trucks will never make it back. They're done. Leave it open, maybe. There's been enough suffering that there's some light at the end of a very long tunnel. That's all you can say about it. Now, in trading markets, let's talk about that. You take the world. I want to use the word the world. I know some people say that's just a small region. I'm going to say you take the world to the point where do we all want to be entering into this? It's not a skirmish. It's a war. The answer is no. Will calm heads prevail at some point? We hope so. That's all you can say. I'm not going into the human tragedies on both sides. They're there. And that's what war is, unfortunately. I've never seen a war where only the soldiers get killed. If you do, would you write me about it? Because I'm not aware of any where that's how it happens. When we look at Amazon, before I get into it, I got to say something. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York released a study they did today. Now, I had been led to believe by everything I read, and I read probably more than most of you that are watching this, that the student payments that began at the beginning of October and have to go, because Biden made a big issue out of it, if you remember, that it was really going to hurt spending in a massive way and take that consumer, the generation consumers well under me, and hurt them to the point where their discretionary spending would be down. The bank came out today with their study. And according to the bank, none of that is true. Yes, there's money to be paid back to the tune, according to them, possibly of $1.6 billion a month. $1 billion. That's not 100 million, not 1.6 million. $1.6 billion a month, which sounds like a lot. But it's not a lot when you consider there's, 28 million student loans or something. You know what the average is that a person's paying then, according to their report? $56 a month. Now, that's not to say for some, it's more money they got to pay. And it's not to say for others, it's less. It's an average. $56 doesn't stop a young person from their spending habits. If you think it does, you are so wrong. It might for a 10-year-old, but it isn't for students' loans, people that have graduated from colleges, making a living, and they've got to pay on average. Please listen to that. So the point that I'm making is that doesn't hurt Amazon. Amazon's going to do noise right now. It just ended a Prime Day sale. It's got to get ready for the Black Friday goods. So as we look at it, the short-term trend is down, lower highs, lower lows. And what do I teach you? You'll see me teach often that markets that have a big up or whatever, they'll consolidate and they fight a battle again at 18-day averages. They go up, they fight a battle again. Here's a big move down. And what has the market basically done? It's fighting a battle. It keeps coming down here. It keeps going into that zone, trying to see what's it made out of. Is it going to be able to flip to the bear side, which the 128.13 close today was under the 18-day average. So the bear side was accomplished today. Does it get follow through? As long as you don't take out 133.07, the bears grabbed control. Where might you go? Well, if it's a moving average, it could be the 115.95, the 200 week, but more likely it's the Bollinger Band, which is here in the 123.76, 124 level. It could also just stall out here. So if you're thinking the short side of the market, you have momentum pointing down. As long as you don't get over 133.07, the bias is with you, the trend is with you, and it's possible that if the market decides to break, you're going to that level. In Rivian, the market is staying under the 18-week average. It had its own neat rally yesterday, came itself up, got up here. Now, 2079 was the 100-day average. It didn't even get close. It got to 2022. So the market had a rally off an oversold condition. And now the market is back down to the 200-day average and having a problem here. We saw Tesla earnings come out, their sales come out, and Tesla's doing actually still just fine. When we look at UGA, this is the gasoline fund, the market's come off the 200-day average. If you look back at it and you understand what I teach that the first challenge of a major moving average often stops the market. If it doesn't, you got to see what's going on. For certain, this didn't stop it, and it normally does. The combination of a Bollinger Band and a 100-day average, you will hear me say over and over, look for the pros to do some short covering there. And if you add that together, you were down over here. But then you embedded. When you embed, you often try to stay bearish until you lose that reading. Now, when you lose that reading, and let me walk you right here, here you lose it. You get to a 24 reading. It's the first time. Prior to that, the numbers were just going sideways under 20. My work screams at me that until the market gets under the most recent low, the odds are it's going to the closest moving average on that chart. Okay, and that's today. So I'm not saying it can't go higher. I'm saying it doesn't have to go any higher. It's relieved its downside momentum. In XLF, the financial sector, overbought market that went up and challenged everything. The 200, the 100-day average gray and green, and the Bollinger Band yesterday. Yes, had I been out here, I'd have said I think the pros came out. Overbought into those numbers. So long. If you pull back, first support's the 18-day average classic. Now, XLI. All right. Higher high, lower low. Here's what I think most markets are going to go into right now. Right now. More sideways action. Keep your eye on this. Look for those patterns at this point. You've got one right here in AI. Yes, the bias is up, the trend is up. It doesn't mean it's going anywhere. You hit the Bollinger Band, it's like hitting that brick wall. That and the combination of the 200-day average. Could you pop through it and make a run here? Of course you could. But the odds don't favor it right now. The odds favor the market fighting right here. Why? Because everything around the market doesn't say go in and put risk on. Interest rates keep marching to a higher tune. They just keep going. You have a war going on in the Middle East. We don't know what that's going to do to the market. We have a Federal Reserve, very quietly, it's right around the corner. I frankly think they're not going to do a darn thing. They don't have to. The U.S. Treasury is doing their job for them. The U.S. Treasury keeps throwing out $100 billion at a time of dollars almost daily that have to be auctioned. And the public is saying, we'll buy it. Or the big boys will say, they will buy it. We want you to goose up that rate a bit more. So for, I think it was today, a 47-day, was it that, what the auction was? It was a weird amount. It was like 4 weeks plus, whatever. 5.35%. I mean, why are you gambling in the market when in a month you can make 5%? I mean, I'm sure you're going to tell me you can do that with your portfolio all the time. I know better. When I look at RSP, higher lows, higher highs, and again, you made your run towards the Bollinger Band, you pulled back. So are the pros buying? I don't think they're buying in an overbought market. I think they're, again, looking for more sideways action to develop. What do you think you have in XHB? You don't see the sideways action that has just set itself up. Now the market is right back to the 200-day average. Did you bother to look at today's mortgage numbers? The starts numbers went up beautifully. Did you look at who's pulling permits? Nobody. The only guy pulling a permit is somebody who goes to a home builder and says, I have the cash, I have the wherewithal, let's go. Or they're able together to put together a deal, lock it up, big deposit, let's go. Then they'll pull a permit. That is down 6-7%. That's why it keeps happening, okay? And it's week after week that we're seeing this. And it is a bearish market, but do you want to sell an oversold market into a 200-day average in the Bollinger Band that's got basically sideways action? I'll let you do it. Now, the markets we know shouldn't have sideways action, there's a group. TLT, BND, XLE, and UUP, the dollar. Other markets shouldn't. So in this market, it's a war environment. Make peace, you'll fall apart. Don't make peace, you still use your chart action, you're overbought. You could reach up here. You and I don't know what we'll wake up to in the morning. If you do, terrific. I don't. And so far, everything's been in the bull camp. The threats of oil embargoes, blah, 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 by Iran. Who the heck knows? But on the other hand, buying on the pullbacks is making sense when you're not overbought. When you're not overbought. I had clients writing me today, Ira, should I be coming out of gold up here? And I said, here's what you're asking me to do. You're asking me to break my rules. I don't even want to get into the discussion with you. If you take the name off the chart, and that's what we're supposed to be playing, you're up to the Bollinger Band, you're overbought, you've just cleared, you stalled at the average, and now you've went to the next resistance. It will take something worse in this war to keep gold going up. I don't know that it can't happen. So my answer was yes, you've got to be peeling in a big way, if not all of it, your money out of the market on this rally, ready to buy on the breaks. SLV had the same call. Same thing. And I'm sure if it keeps going, they'll tell me what a jerk I am and how wrong. And if I'm right, I will never hear a word from these people again. That's how it works. But as a subscriber of mine, I answer. And I get it. I get it all the time. And it's okay. Overbought into the resistance, you keep looking for the higher number. I don't want to. Yes, we're in a war. Could it end? Yes. Could it get worse? It could. Could it turn into a whole different type of conflict? It can. It can. That's all I can tell you. But if you go to buy chart action, and I am a chartist at the end of the day, that's it. I'm certainly not saying go short gold. The question is, do you peel back your positions in that and silver? Copper's a different world. Copper's based on China and China's demand. And I was surprised copper was down today because China came out with its GDP number and it's solidly beat the estimates. Their numbers are looking better. They have a disaster on their hands that they don't seem to be able to address in their property market. Property is a big part of copper demand. But when you look at how the economy is doing, retail sales, industrial production, GDP, they look to me like they have plateaued. That does not mean they're ready to pick up and gallop, but I don't think there's much downside anymore. But copper's still bearish, and if it wants to keep going down, yes, it can get to 33.83, and yes, I think the bears are in control, and yes, I think they'll be selling short at 35.24 until you get back over that 35.36 level, looking for lower and lows in the market. In TLT, here's a market that today went to its objective. And I know, Ira, what should we do? Or Ira, they write me. I'm not going to change. My work would say you're covering shorts. You're not embedded, you're covering shorts. UUP, market plateaued here. It's still in an uptrend. Looks to me like it can come up to the upper band, but I'm starting to see the sideways action. Markets don't grow to the heavens. They eventually run into an area where they have to consolidate or they start churning, wondering what's going on. We're at that phase, but bullish, and that's how I'm approaching it. Bearish, still in FXE. You're not going to tell me that U.S. interest rates are suddenly going to reverse course. So this weighs on all these markets against the U.S. dollar because our rates, forget the Fed, I'm not interested in what they do. I really am not. It's the U.S. Treasury. And how do you fund now Ukraine and Israel and our border and get a budget done and our other issues that we have at home? You tell me how you do all this. It's never-ending spending. And I understand, I don't appreciate, I understand the 8 Republicans that are not allowing a speaker to be formed, and I understand their argument. I'm going to repeat. I don't appreciate it. I fully understand it. There's a big difference in the two. If you take out an FXE, the high of yesterday, gives me pause to think maybe a short covering rally will happen. That also tells me the pros are going to be aggressive in their selling at the 18-day average with stops over that high. So you put it together. I see the game plans. I see the plans of action. Now the question is, do you act on them? Do you walk away from a market like this? What do you want to do? That becomes the big play. So as I'm playing with it, how do we do this? Well, we write about this, a lot of it. I don't do it. For my firm writes letters all day long. We have a whole writing department. You'd be shocked at how much research gets put out in all the markets, be it the stocks, the currencies, interest rates, the grain markets, the soft commodities, the energies. We're writing all the time. We have oral reports too. A lot of people don't like to read. They want to hear the oral reports. Well, through what we call our QT platform, you're able to hear all our audio recordings throughout the day, and they're really cool and good. We send notice when they're put out. You see them in our platform. Would you like to try it? You're not going to get this at other firms. We don't buy the material and republish it. We are the publishers. So how do you get it? Go to our website, free offers, take a look at the different offerings there. Move your cursor to the top here, give it a click, you'll see an icon. Sign up that way, it'll take you to the same area. And I'm Ira Epstein. I'll catch you all tomorrow. Take care.